Good evening. We'd like to welcome you to our Elmore County Commission work session dated Monday, September 23rd. We'll call this meeting to order. We welcome all of our guests here today. We'll begin with our regular business, a review of the minutes of the September 9th, 2019 Commission meeting. Any comments or questions? Hearing none, we'll move forward, review the memorandum of warrants for the period of September 4, 2019 through September 17, 2019. Mr. Byer?
Mr. Chairman, Commissioners, for the period of time, the memorandum of warrants was $671,948.28.
Thank you. All right, we'll move forward with old business. If you'll remember, at our previous County Commission meeting, we discussed the fiscal year 2020 budget, some of the highlights that are included in this fiscal year 2020 budget. We have the opportunity to implement some of the things that we've initiated in previous years with opportunities for us to provide merit-based raises for our county employees. In addition to that, we have some changes to the information technology department within the county due to the growth of our county, the growth of our staff, and the tremendous need to stay on top of technology both in our county day-to-day operations and our sheriff's department. And there are several other items that we highlighted at our previous meeting, and today we have the opportunity to discuss and pass this budget, which will begin on October 1. Are there any comments or questions from any of our commissioners regarding these items?
Go ahead. You go ahead.
Yes, sir.
Richie, I appreciate what you and your staff did. I think you did an excellent job.
Thank you, Commissioner Folt. Any others?
Mr. Chairman, when we took office in 2016, shortly after taking office that summer during the budget hearing, I remember Sheriff Franklin commenting that it was the best budget process he had ever been involved in all his years of being sheriff. That being because they just didn't present a budget and we passed it yea or nay. It was because of the fact that Mr. Byer and the staff sat down with each department head and went through every line item in the budget. So I want to compliment Mr. Byer and all the staff that was involved in the budget process and all the department heads as well. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. Any other comments?
Chairman, I spent time with the staff going over the budget line by line. Appreciate them, their hard work putting this together. It's a multiple-page budget, as we know. I believe the budget is consistent with our mission to operate the county more efficiently and to spend those dollars where the citizens can best receive the highest level of service possible. That's all I have.
Thank you. Any other comments?
I guess, yes. I looked at the budget and I put it on hold because I guess I read a little slower than the rest of y'all. I've been here a long time, but anyway, I think it is a well put together budget, and I see we got raising in for employees, and I want to commend Richie and his staff for a well planned and well put together budget for this coming fiscal year. And I studied each and every aspect, and I did have some talk with him, and he showed me the things and where the money is coming from and where it's going, because I'm very conservative. I don't want to waste any money anywhere. So I think he did a good job on putting together this budget. And I thank you and your staff.
Thank you. I'll add one thing that we've recognized as we this is our I believe third or fourth year of actually putting together a budget as a county commission, and one thing that we've recognized is that this is while we may have a budget for one fiscal year, all of the budgets have to work together. In previous years, sometimes we have to plan 2 or 3 years in advance to accomplish a goal. Just because we want something or we see a need or need a change in something in particular, it doesn't mean it can happen in that next fiscal year. So we have to work methodically as a county commission with our staff and with the elected officials and department heads throughout the county so that we can accomplish our overall objective, which is to use the taxpayer dollars efficiently and for the betterment of our entire community. And that is what our overall goal is, and I feel that this budget moves us down the road in terms of accomplishing those goals. And so I'm excited about it. I'm anxious to get this budget implemented and begin our planning for the next year. All right, we'll move forward then with our new business. We have some visitors with us today. The National Society of the Daughters of the American Revolution have contacted us, and we are delighted to participate with them in a proclamation to celebrate Constitution Week. As many of you are aware, September 17th through September 23rd is Constitution Week. You've probably seen some things on the news and some things locally here. So we as a county commission are signing this proclamation recognizing Constitution Week, and we appreciate I believe, 3 chapters of the Daughters of the American Revolution who are with us today. So we'll invite them to come forward. We're going to get a picture together. Y'all come on up.
Appreciate what y'all do. Thank you.
We'd now like to invite Ms. Delane Goggins from the Juvenile Probation Office to come forward to discuss the fiscal year 2020 agreements.
Yep. Okay. These grant agreements, the first 2 go together. The first one is for Elmore County to contract with the Department of Youth Services for the DYS to provide Elmore County 1 detention bed space at no charge to the county. The second one is for 2 additional bed spaces that we have. The first one would be for $25,000 for the fiscal year. The second one is for $20,000. These are the same 2 agreements that we've signed probably for 6 or 7 years now, if not longer, for the amounts there. And then the third one is Elmore County received a diversion grant from the Department of Youth Services and to provide programs for at-risk children that come through juvenile court. And the County Commission has been gracious to be our physical conduit for this grant money, and that's what the third grant is for.
All right, thank you. With respect to the detention beds, are there circumstances or times during a year where we have a need for more than the beds that we have contracts for?
It is rare, Chairman Stubbs, for us to need more than 3 detention beds at one time. It does happen occasionally, but we try to be very cognizant of that and not let that happen unless we absolutely have to. Okay. If that does happen, it's a charge of $85 a day for that child.
Okay. Thank you. Any other comments or questions?
Go ahead. Appreciate what you do, Ms. Goggins.
Thank you.
Ms. Goggins, these 3 agreements and grants, they're like you said, they're pretty much the same grants and agreements, the provisions and the same things last
Yes,
year.
sir, for at least 6 years now, if not a bit longer.
Very good. Thank you. Appreciate what you do.
All right, thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Goggins. You've been serving this county well for a lot of years, but you started very young, and I've had the privilege of
Thank you.
being in law enforcement and working you on a one-to-one basis, and you're so dedicated to what you do in law enforcement in the area of probation, and we thank you very, very much.
Thank you. Thank you for that.
We'll now move forward. I do not see Rhea Cord here from the Humane Society of Elmore County. We participate with the Humane Society annually, providing them with some assistance with their facility. Mr. Byer, can you
Yes, sir.
talk a little bit
and
about
Ms. Rhea,
this?
Ms. Rhea was planning to be here, so she must have got held up. This is our standard annual agreement with the Humane Society, and in a nutshell, it's $32,000 worth of funding for them to provide services to the county for animal housing and control.
Thank you. I think we're all aware that the Humane Society provides a great service, and they also work really hard to raise funds on their own to complete the process and to try and meet the needs, the growing needs of the services provided by the Humane Society in Elmore County. All right, we'll move forward. Miss Carolyn Anita Patterson from the Valley Subdivision. If you'd come forward, just make sure the light's on when you get to the microphone.
Test.
Yes.
Is it on?
Thank you.
Chairman and the county commissioners, I appreciate the opportunity to be here. I thank for giving me the opportunity to come to you and let you hear the concerns that I have for my subdivision. And as I said, my name is Anita Patterson, and I live in the Valley Subdivision. That's right off of Rifle Range Road. I live at 34 Wild Oak Lane. And I'm here to address the condition of our streets in the neighborhood. I think they're unsafe. It was my understanding that upon completion of the subdivision and prior to the approval of the street being accepted by the county for maintenance of the county, that there would be a wear surface that was placed upon the street, and it should have been applied at that time. But the street has never had a wear surface applied to the base construction of the street. And I've been told by the county engineer that at the time that the county took the street on for the maintenance, that the standards were met at that time. But since that time, the standards have changed. But even if the standards were met 17 years ago, the street has become in a very bad condition. It's not safe. He further stated that the county had changed prior in the past as well. But in 2004, I believe it was 2004, after I'd spoken to the county about the street, they came out and put something in the holes out there. But that did not fix our street. Our street is still in really bad condition, and I was told by the county engineer at that time that there was a list of streets that needed to be redone, and I'm requesting a copy of those streets. I'd be interested to know where we are on that list, since we've been on there since 2004, and we have several residents in our community. They're older. They like to get out and walk in the mornings if the weather's cool enough, and in the afternoons. But it's kind of not safe for them to do that, not only because of the holes that are in the street, but the street is uneven and rough all along the way, so it's just not safe for them to get out and about. And the culverts in our neighborhood also need repair. And I was up here on September the 9th, and I was told that a work order was put in for the culverts, and I'm not sure what date those, that will be looked at. I provided some pictures at that time because one of the culverts, they have a really deep hole all the way around the culvert, and it's not safe. We have children that live out in that neighborhood, and it's they have to pass by that culvert, you know, to get to the school bus, and so it really needs to be looked at. And I just believe that fixing our streets, out in our street, that repairing and the culverts, that we would have a safer neighborhood for all of our residents. So I appreciate your time and listening to my concerns. Thank you very, very much.
Thank you very much. We appreciate you being here and bringing these items to our attention. Thank you. Yes, sir.
Mr. Chairman and Ms. Patterson, thank you for coming. Thank you for coming and sharing that with us. I can tell you that Engineer Byer and I were out there even today, and there is a pending work order on the culvert. We noted that, and a couple of bad spots in the road that we noted as well. And I will tell you that we are looking at what we can do in the short term and looking at what we can do in the future to make it better. We have needs all over the county, obviously, but I want you to know that we are aware of the situation, and we certainly will give it our attention. Mr. Byer, you want to add anything?
The list that Ms. Patterson refers to is our county road inventory that we grade all our roads. And just for some sense of context, in 2018 when those roads were graded in the high 80s in terms of the condition. So in terms of a subdivision and somebody that wants to live in a neighborhood, I can imagine that they feel like that is there's some areas that are rough, but when you compare it against our entire system and you got that road scoring in the high 80s compared to some of the other roads we're trying to get to, there's just an imbalance there in terms of a desire for curb and gutter subdivision versus some of our other roads. So I think that may be where some of the disconnect is in terms of the list and things of that nature. But Commissioner Daughtry and I did make that visit today. The work order around the culvert is being scheduled, and basically what has happened is on the back side of some of the S inlets, there's some material that is sucked down into the inlet, just needs to be replaced in some of the yards, or actually in one of the yards. So, but we do have that as an action item, and then there's a few places that need to be patched and repaired. We'll get that squared away. So,
thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Byer.
I did see Ms. Rhea Cord come in. We would like to invite Rhea to come up here, representing the Humane Society of Elmore County. We said a lot of glowing things about you, but
we missed you yesterday, actually.
Sorry about that. We just mentioned that we partner with the Elmore County Humane Society, but we'd love to hear a report from you on the services you provide.
Okay. Well, the Humane Society of Elmore County, we've been there for about 30 years taking care of all the animal control issues for you and for our citizens in the county. Last year we took in about 4,143 animals. We're up about 200 so far this year compared to last year, but, you know, it'll all kind of work itself out. We're down about 1,000 from our peak intake over all of these years. I've been there now over 15 years, and that's a good thing statistically, but especially since the county's kind of grown, but still it would be nice if those numbers would come down. We still have a lot of education to do with a lot of our pet owners. But we've made a lot of improvements in the shelter this year because of the support we have, our financial status, us working very hard to also take care of ourselves with our thrift store and with our fundraising activities. So we continue to try to make that very old facility very viable for quite a few years to come. On any given day, we're housing anywhere from 250 to 350 animals. It'll depend on the time of the year. Litters drive those numbers exponentially, so when you hear me reporting that we have 320 animals or something in the shelter, I can tell you it's spring or summer and there's a lot of litters of kittens and puppies in there, and various other and sundry animals that we do get from time to time, some goats and potbelly pigs and guinea pigs and rabbits and all of those kind of things. So we work very well with all of the animal control officers, your county animal control officer, each one of the cities, and they can come to us. I was just talking to one today about, you know, if you have cruelty cases, get with us because we'll help you pull those cases together, you know, as we work all of those issues up. Hopefully that doesn't happen very often that we have those cases, but we are there. I mean, we're open 6 days a week for the public to see us, for anybody to access us. Monday through Saturday we are open. Of course, we are there 7 days a week taking care of animals. Doesn't matter if it's New Year's Day, Christmas Day, somebody is there feeding and cleaning. It's Groundhog Day every day in a shelter kind of a thing. But we are open admission, so we will take any animal from a citizen or of this county, or if it's found in this county. The only exception to that being wildlife. We direct those to wildlife rehabilitators that are licensed by the state. We're not, and we won't take bite cases in accordance with state rabies law. So it doesn't matter if it's young, old. If it has bitten a human, it cannot come into us unless it's been quarantined at a veterinarian for the appropriate period of time. So we're always directing people when they call us about that quite often. But we take them all. We take those that are healthy, sweet, nice, mean, sick, dying, injured. Injured animals will go to local vet. It's not going to lay in our shelter and be in pain. It's not going to lay there hurting. If it needs to see a veterinarian, it comes in, it's going to go. And then if a humane call needs to be made, then I have a veterinarian and we're working together with the vet to determine that perhaps that animal, it would be kinder to let it go because it's too grievously injured. So we work pretty hard. We have a small staff that are very dedicated. We just had one of our 14th year for Bark in the Park yesterday out at Fort Toulouse, so that's a well-attended event. We had a lot of fun. I want to thank Commissioner Reeves, who stopped by and showed a little faith in our work by giving us a donation last week. I greatly appreciate that. And we will continue to be here to help the citizens of Elmore County, because it's really about people first. I mean, we are about animals, but we're helping people who need help with animals. And we'll be there for the animals, and we'll help the people at the same time. And then, of course, try to find homes for as many of them as we can. We take our role in responsible pet ownership very seriously, so we are not a just walk in, I want, pay, and go. We do work with people. We want to help them find the right pet, because we know that many of the pets that are with us are because there was no thought given to it in the first place, and it was a completely bad fit. So we do have an application and a screening process, and we take it seriously. So we do try our best to make sure, and I will promise you, as the director of this shelter, I will not put an unsafe animal out in the public if I have any knowledge of it. I mean, that part we take very seriously. So I do promise you that. We left the budget funded similarly as previous years, and we appreciate your support and hope that we can continue to work together for a very long time. Thank you. Any questions? Thank you. We have a good board too, so yeah, we're working very hard to keep that place. I'm working with you. That clinic has come together. I've got flyers actually. I didn't get the quite go ahead for a free clinic on the 19th of October in the Elmore area, trying to target some pet owners who maybe cannot avail to veterinarians for a 4-hour period of time. We've got slots that will start for a free wellness clinic for just vaccinations and that kind of stuff. That's to talk to people. So that's all under works right now. The flyers I'll get out in the next couple days actually.
All right. Thank you very much. We appreciate you being here. All right, we'll proceed now. Consider awarding Elmore County Primary Care Development CDBG grant bid to the lowest bidder, Alexander Seal Coating and Striping, Inc. As you're aware, this is the healthcare facility being constructed by or next to Lowe's, and we as the county are the conduit for the CDBG grant. The funding comes through us to the, in this case, Alexander Seal Coating and Striping as the lowest bidder for this particular portion of the project. And I would anticipate we'll have more of those types of things in the coming meetings with different different parts of the project.
Well, this covers all the construction of the improvements, so this is the ARC and the CD.
Okay, so this is
CDBG.
ARC also.
Yes, sir. So the amount is for $289,397 is the actual contract amount for Alexander Steel.
Okay. All right. So it's ARC and CDBG.
Yes, sir. The ARC matches the CDBG.
Right. Okay. Thank you. All right, we'll proceed. Discuss request for license agreement for use of courthouse grounds by the Elmore County Democratic Party to conduct monthly meetings on the third Monday of each month at 6 p.m. in the old courtroom. Mr. Courtney, have you reviewed this? Okay. It's in line with other agreements that we've done in the past. Great. All right. Any comments or questions there? All right, we'll proceed. Consider setting a public hearing for a 011 Lounge Retail Liquor Class 2 Package Liquor License application by Janney Bai, LLC for Redland Package Store, 6513 Redland Road, Wetumpka, Alabama, 36093. This is to set a date for the public hearing, and we will monitor their application process and ensure they do all the things necessary prior to having the public hearing.
Mr. Chairman, it's my understanding that that facility has been or is being sold, and they currently have such license, and this is would be basically a transfer.
All right. All right, we'll proceed. Consider awarding bid inquiry number 2020-1, fuel bid to the lowest responsible bidder. Mr. Byer.
Mr. Chairman, the fuel bid, the motor grader bid, that is the next item, and the cleaning of the county facilities, all are the first part of our annual bids that we typically do. So we would ask that you reward those to the lowest responsible bidders. You have copies of those tabulation sheets in your packet.
Thank you. All right, so as Mr. Byer indicated, the second one, consider awarding bid inquiry number 2020-2, motor grader blades bid to the lowest responsible bidder. And the third, consider awarding bid inquiry number 2020-3, cleaning county facilities bid to the lowest responsible bidder. All right, we'll proceed. Consent docket, approve proposed plat of Oak Creek, Plat 1. Approve travel memo. We'll advance to personnel notifications. Notification of resignation of Stephen Bush, Corrections Officer, effective 9/26/19. Notification of resignation of William Jesse, Dispatcher, effective 9/17/19. Notification of hire of Bonnie Speed, Dispatcher Tier 1, replace W. Jesse, effective 10/3/19. We'll now proceed with reports to the Commission. Mr. Byer.
Mr. Chairman, Commissioners, I don't have a report tonight. The only thing I want to say is I just want to thank the staff and the department heads for all the work during the budget. They made it seamless. Also, the time that we spent with the Commission on this, hopefully that we were able to provide you quick insight or answers to your question. But I specifically wanted to call out Mike Knighton and Courtney Clements. The two of them worked tirelessly to get us the information, especially Mike, and so just kudos to them on all the work that went into making this seamless process this year. That's all I have in the way of report tonight. Y'all have any questions or comments for me?
Thank you. We'll proceed now with reports from the Commission. We'll begin with Commissioner Holt.
Going a little bit further, Richie, I think overall we got a great group of people and all of our departments, and I know you play a big role in that, and I appreciate that. Glad to see all of y'all tonight. It's kind of never this busy, so we're glad you're here, especially the ones that are doing the services that are so desperately needed. I'm sure you work a lot of time you don't get paid for. I mean, that's just the way it works, but we appreciate what y'all do. We appreciate the citizens that are here. We appreciate you taking an interest, because you need to know what's going on in the county. Only way you're going to know that for sure is to be here. And we greatly appreciate you being here. Thank y'all very much. That's all I have, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. Commissioner Daughtry?
I don't have anything at this time, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. Commissioner Mercer?
Thank you, Chairman. I just want to thank, there's a lot of people in this room that do a lot for our county, and I want to thank those who have Tay here with the Sunshine Center, and Katrina, the Extension Service, and Rhea with the Humane Shelter, and Ms. Goggins works for our juvenile, our children here in their court system, and Carrie Dennis, Carrie Cox with the economic developer. You know, these guys do a lot for our county, and gals do a lot for our county, and I just appreciate that very much. I know a lot of times we don't have this many of y'all here, but since we do, I want to really appreciate what you do, and you provide such a vital service to our county, and just say a big thank you. Chairman, that's all I have.
Thank you. Commissioner Reeves? Thank you. I'd just like to address a couple things that are happening in my district. First and foremost, I think we all recognize the construction and the projects that are taking place in this historic district of downtown Wetumpka. Obviously, it may hinder some of the traffic flow through downtown, which by my estimation is a good thing because people speed through downtown a lot. So hopefully some of the new curbing and other changes that are being made will allow our downtown to be more pedestrian friendly. On October 11th and 12th, which is Friday and Saturday, the Alabama Historic Association hosts their fall pilgrimage in Wetumpka. This is an annual event where the Alabama Historical Association invites their members and others, anyone who is interested, to visit a historical location in the state of Alabama. They tour historic homes, historic buildings. They learn the history of that community. And they have chosen Wetumpka as the location this year. I'd encourage you to learn more about that. It's an opportunity even for local residents. Even if you've lived in Wetumpka your whole life, you probably would see or learn things new from this and actually get to tour some of the homes. The homeowners in the area have agreed to open their homes up during this event for people to tour. So it's an exciting opportunity, and we've partnered with the local hotels. They're offering discounted rates for those who are coming in from out of town, so it's also an economic development opportunity. The other two items I have are, I hope that everyone will get out to support the Wetumpka High School Indians this Friday night, play Prattville at home. That game is at 7 p.m. This is Wetumpka's first home game this year, which is pretty amazing that they've played 4 games and all of them have been on the road. So I would hope that you'll try to make it out to that, and we won't have another meeting before the Wetumpka Stanhope Elmore game, but I'm going to make sure that Mr. Byer knows that the Indians will prevail in that county rivalry. So I look forward, we'll have to come up with something to agree upon for that game. So I look forward to that. I hope that, all jokes aside, I hope that you're supporting the youth in your respective part of the community. Wherever you live in the county, I hope that you're out supporting them in their activities. We've had plays. The play Frozen was done by the Wetumpka High School Theater Guild for probably 2 weeks. They put on performances. They brought elementary students from the schools to come and see. So whatever they're doing in your community, please get out and support the youth, encourage them. They hear a lot from people our age about how their generation always looks at their phone and they never do this and they never do that and they don't know how to work. And I think they hear that too much. So I think they need to hear positive things. And by supporting them in these types of events, that's the one way that we can show it. So we'll now proceed with our important calendar dates. Ms. Kim?
Saturday, October 12th is the next countywide cleanup from 9 to 1, noting the rotating location will be the Cusada Post Office. Monday, October 14th, the administrative complex will be closed in observance of Columbus Day. Tuesday, October 15th, will be the next commission meeting at 5 with the business meeting following. And our second meeting in October will be on Monday, October 28th at 5 p.m. Friday, November 8th is the qualifying deadline for candidates for County Commissioner at 5 p.m. And the countywide cleanup day for November is November 9th from 9 to 1, with the location being the Town of Elmore Annex.
All right, thank you. We'll reconvene shortly. All right, welcome to our Elmore County Commission business meeting dated Monday, September 23, 2019. We'll call this meeting to order. We'll begin with an invocation offered by Commissioner Holt, following which Commissioner Daughtry will lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
Our most gracious Heavenly Father, we thank you for everything you do for us and for all of our citizens. We thank you for the loving kindness. We are very thankful for the county we live in and the people that we represent, and I don't think you could live in a better place. I do know that our people, as I mentioned earlier, work hard, and I appreciate that, and I know that God is a part of a lot of our employees, and that's a very essential thing. You know, without Jesus Christ, we're in trouble. So, I'd like to say that I know that we're going to do as a group everything we can to make this county a better place to live. And I ask these things in Lord and Savior Jesus Christ's name. Amen.
Amen.
Let us stand for the pledge, please. Attention, salute, pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you.
Commissioner Holt?
Here.
Commissioner Daughtry?
Here.
Chairman Stubbs?
Here.
Commissioner Mercer?
Here.
Commissioner Reeves?
We have one announcement to make prior to beginning with our regular business. Commissioner Reeves?
Yes, I had a call from Stewart, the Millbrook, the senior volunteer program, and she's out of traveling. She wanted me to pass it on to all the commission that they will be doing a luncheon on the 26th at the Millbrook Civic Center at 11 o'clock this coming Saturday. And she wanted all the commissioners to be there and have lunch with them, and said she's sponsored, but then she's gonna give awards to all the senior volunteers.
All right, thank you. And I've got Ms. Stewart's phone number here. If any of the commissioners have any questions, we'll give her a call. Thank you. All right, regular business. Is there a motion to approve the minutes of the September 9, 2019 commission meeting?
Motion approved.
Second.
Ms. Kim?
Commissioner Holt?
Yes.
Commissioner Daughtry?
Yes.
Chairman Stubbs?
Yes.
Commissioner Mercer?
Yes.
Commissioner Reeves?
Is there a motion to approve the memorandum of warrants for the period of September 4, 2019 through September 17, 2019?
Motion to approve.
Ms. Kim?
Commissioner Holt?
Yes.
Commissioner Daughtry?
Yes.
Chairman Stubbs?
Yes.
Commissioner Mercer?
Yes.
Commissioner Reeves?
Proceeding now with our old business, is there a motion to approve fiscal year 2020 budget?
Second.
Ms. Kim?
Commissioner Holt?
Yes.
Commissioner Daughtry?
Yes.
Chairman Stubbs?
Yes.
Commissioner Mercer?
Yes.
Commissioner Reeves?
Proceeding to new business, is there a motion to approve Constitution Week proclamation?
I'll make that motion.
Second.
Ms. Kim?
Commissioner Holt?
Yes.
Commissioner Daughtry?
Yes.
Chairman Stubbs?
Yes.
Commissioner Mercer?
Yes.
Commissioner Reeves?
Is there a motion to approve fiscal year 2020 detention contract with Department of Youth Services for one detention bed?
Second.
Ms. Kim?
Commissioner Holt?
Yes.
Commissioner Daughtry?
Yes.
Chairman Stubbs?
Yes.
Commissioner Mercer?
Yes.
Commissioner Reeves?
Is there a motion to approve fiscal year 2020 long-term detention subsidy agreement with Montgomery County for 2 detention beds?
Motion to approve.
Ms. Kim?
Commissioner Holt?
Yes.
Commissioner Daughtry?
Yes.
Chairman Stubbs?
Yes.
Commissioner Mercer?
Yes.
Commissioner Reeves?
Is there a motion to approve fiscal year 2020 diversion grant contract with Department of Youth Services?
Motion approved.
Second.
Ms. Kim?
Commissioner Holt?
Yes.
Commissioner Daughtry?
Yes.
Chairman Stubbs?
Yes.
Commissioner Mercer?
Yes.
Commissioner Reeves?
Is there a motion to approve Humane Society of Elmore County fiscal year 2020 agreement?
Motion to approve.
Second.
Ms. Kim?
Commissioner Holt?
Yes.
Commissioner Daughtry?
Yes.
Chairman Stubbs?
Yes.
Commissioner Mercer?
Yes.
Commissioner Reeves?
Is there a motion to approve awarding Elmore County Primary Care Development CDBG grant bid to the lowest bidder, Alexander Seal Coating and Striping, Inc.? Ms. Kim?
Commissioner Holt?
Yes.
Commissioner Daughtry?
Yes.
Chairman Stubbs?
Yes.
Commissioner Mercer?
Yes.
Commissioner Reeves?
Is there a motion to approve license agreement for use of courthouse grounds by the Elmore County Democratic Party to conduct monthly meetings on the third Monday of each month at 6 p.m. in the old courtroom?
I'll make that motion.
Ms. Kim?
Commissioner Holt?
Yes.
Commissioner Daughtry?
Yes.
Chairman Stubbs?
Yes.
Commissioner Mercer?
Yes.
Commissioner Reeves?
Is there a motion to approve setting a public hearing on Tuesday, October 15, 2019 for a 011 lounge retail liquor Class 2 package liquor license application by Janney Bai LLC for Redland Package Store 6513 Redland Road, Wetumpka, Alabama 36093?
Motion approved.
Second.
Ms. Kim?
Commissioner Holt?
Yes.
Commissioner Daughtry?
Yes.
Chairman Stubbs?
Yes.
Commissioner Mercer?
Yes.
Commissioner Reeves?
Is there a motion to approve awarding bid inquiry number 2020-1 fuel bid to the lowest responsible bidder?
Motion to approve.
Second.
Ms. Kim?
Commissioner Holt?
Yes.
Commissioner Daughtry?
Yes.
Chairman Stubbs?
Yes.
Commissioner Mercer?
Yes.
Commissioner Reeves?
Is there a motion to approve awarding bid inquiry number 2020-2 motor grader blades bid to the lowest responsible bidder?
Second.
Ms. Kim?
Commissioner Holt?
Yes.
Commissioner Daughtry?
Yes.
Chairman Stubbs?
Yes.
Commissioner Mercer?
Yes.
Commissioner Reeves?
Is there a motion to approve awarding bid inquiry number 2020-3 cleaning county facilities bid to the lowest responsible bidder?
Motion to approve.
Second.
Ms. Kim?
Commissioner Holt?
Yes.
Commissioner Daughtry?
Yes.
Chairman Stubbs?
Yes.
Commissioner Mercer?
Yes.
Commissioner Reeves?
Is there a motion to approve the consent docket as presented?
Motion to approve.
Second.
Ms. Kim?
Commissioner Holt?
Yes.
Commissioner Daughtry?
Yes.
Chairman Stubbs?
Yes.
Commissioner Mercer?
Yes.
Commissioner Reeves?
Personnel notifications. Notification of resignation of Stephen Bush, Corrections Officer, effective 9/26/19. Notification of resignation of William Jesse, Dispatcher, effective 9/17/19. Notification of hire of Bonnie Speed, Dispatcher Tier 1, replace W. Jesse, effective 10/3/19. Any additional reports to the Commission? Is there a motion to adjourn?
Second.
Ms. Kim?
Commissioner Holt?
Yes.
Commissioner Daughtry?
Yes.
Chairman Stubbs?
Yes.
Commissioner Mercer?
Yes.
Commissioner Reeves?
Meeting adjourned.